That was a taste of what we're going to be looking at today under the microscope. So if you found that disgusting or disturbing, please don't watch this one and maybe come back next week and see what else we have to show you. All right, so as you saw, we are going to be looking at a placenta today. Now, how I got this is the young lady that was birthing the child gave me permission to show it under the microscope. And so this is what we're going to be looking at. So fair warning, we're going to put it back on the screen. There we go. Here it is. Now, placenta is an amazing organ. So to start, we have the cord here. This is the part that was attached to the baby's belly button. You then have all these veins and the blood vessels that supply nutrients to the baby, and the sac for holding the baby in during the pregnancy. Now we're going to get a section of the cord, the sac, and the actual placenta, and we'll look at that under the microscope. So here is the cord, here is the placenta piece, and that's the sac. So we're going to start and go in that order, and let's look at it under a microscope. So here is our cord. As you can see, there's a lot going on the side here. That's blood vessel, or that's blood cells and tissue cells and just stuff floating around in the water that I used to wash the cord, so it wouldn't be so bloody. Now there's not as much detail as I'd like, and that's because I don't have a microblade to cut super thin slices of sections, but we'll work with what we got. So we got a blood spot there, that's what that red is, and you see all these tissue pieces there. We're going to move to the placenta now. Here is our placenta, so this is the actual placenta. And I realize I didn't show you guys at the beginning very much of the actual placenta, so I'll show it at the end. It's inside the sac, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, we see all these tiny blood vessels. The placenta needs tons of blood vessels to be able to transport nutrients and ensure the survival of that baby. Super fascinating organ. It's amazing that it grows in 10 weeks. All right, so we are now ready to move to our sac. So let's take a look at that. Here we are. Here is the sac. Now, these clear lines are just water bubbles that are trapped under the sac, under the slide. So that's just water there. Anyway, if you're enjoying today's video, please remember to subscribe and comment below what you'd like to see under the microscope. I found this very interesting right here. This is a piece of microplastic, and I am very certain that this was actually inside the mom during pregnancy. Now, the sac might be protecting the baby. I don't know how much gets in. Here's some more I found. There's another one there. And another one here. All right, that's a small section of microplastic, or a small section of the placenta's sac, or the amniotic sac, I should say. And it's crazy how much microplastic I found just within that small section. Anyway, we've zoomed in a little bit more, so we get a little bit more detail of that sac. So as I was saying, I think the sac actually protects the baby from acquiring large amounts of microplastics. I am not sure how much, if any, is getting through the sac. If the mom's blood can't even get through, then I don't know how microplastics can, but they seem to find a way. So I strongly advise, if you're pregnant, avoid eating a bunch of cans and packages because they have microplastics in them. Anyway, we have zoomed in even further, so we're starting to see those fibers and filaments that hold the sac together. And we're going to zoom in one more time to see if we can see a better picture of it. All right, so we are zoomed in even further. Starting to see little blood cells there, and then you see all these fibers. and filaments. Tissue. I'm now going to move back to the placenta so we can see the actual placenta. It's going to be a little bit bloody. All right, here we are. This is our sac, and inside there is the actual placenta. Now this is kind of folded over itself, but it used to contain the baby. Anyway, super fascinating organ. Super amazing what our bodies can do. And thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.